Hi, so this is a video about a game between Kramnik and Karpov, played in 1999, and I chose this game because I thought this was really interesting, and there are a lot of tactic going on in this game. This game, I I had it for an exercise in the book, and I think it's pretty nice if you just try to pause the video and try to find your variation, maybe write it down on the paper and try to find some lines, some winning lines, or just sit back and enjoy the video without doing that. It's really as you want. So Kramnik was white and played d4, Karpov responded with d5, then c4, then d takes c4 by Karpov, so queen gambit accepted, knight f3, knight f6, e3, e6, both sides are developing. Now the bishop recaptured the pawn with a tempo, developing a piece, c5, castle, a6, now bishop b3, already maybe anticipating this b5 move, and the bishop doesn't want to be attacked when he plays b5, so it goes in b3, knight c6, knight c3, and c takes d4. So this move is well, just exchanging the center pawn. And now bishop e7, developing the bishop. So maybe he didn't want to keep the pawn on c5, because now if he takes, he moves the bishop twice to recapture the pawn. So now rook e1 by Kramnik, and now Karpov, I don't know, he made a obvious move. It was a rapid game, I don't know if I mentioned that, so maybe he has some idea here, but probably black here should just castle, but now he puts the knight on the edge of the board, and I think this is kind of weird. Knight a5, it's a good thing to attack the bishop, I mean, if he can trade the bishop, but Kramnik doesn't want to trade the bishop, of course. He plays the bishop on c2, nice square for the bishop. So Karpov goes ahead and tries to get some space. He plays b5, and now a very interesting move by Kramnik, d5. So this pawn sacrifice, I'm not really sure what it does exactly, but I think, in my point of view, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but it tries to get some control over d5, because if e takes d5, well, obviously this is a defender that is not going to defend d5 anymore if the pawn takes. So let's just take a look of what if variation, because Karpov didn't take the pawn, but what if black takes the pawn here? Maybe you could go bishop g5, putting even more pressure on d5 by attacking the defender of d5 one more time. And it's easy here for black to go wrong. For example, if black castles, can you spot a winning combination here? So maybe you want to pause the video here. Okay, so the winning move here is queen d3, and it's threatening to take the knight and then to mate on h7. So how does black cope with that? He just played g6, blockading this battery here on h7, and from there white he just go rook takes e7. Very nice move, because now this knight is pinned to the queen, and well, d5 is gonna drop, knight takes d5. So I gave you some clue before. It has something to do with d5, this pawn, probably. So here the queen goes away and the knight is just lost, so the best thing to do is just to go knight takes d5, bishop takes e7, knight takes e7, and as you can see, white has won a queen for a rook and a knight, and it's enough to win a game when your name is Kramnik. So let's go back to the game. Karpov didn't take the pawn, he played b4 here, attacking the knight on c3. So again, an interesting move here by Kramnik. Bishop a4 check, and it forces black to go to f8. And you might ask why, so maybe try to find a way of white to attack after bishop d7, for example. Okay, so here white has a nice attack again. D takes e6. And what if black tries to take the bishop on a4, because the bishop is attacked here? Well, just queen takes a4. And then the king really has to move if he doesn't want to lose a knight or a queen here. So king f8 and no knight g5. And if b takes c3, then you just fork the queen and the rook. And when the queen moves away, you just eat the rook, and then you can even come back with the knight. The knight is safe here on f7. So, and of course here in this position, taking on b3 is not better. Then you just get the bishop, the king is moving, and then you have a huge pass pawn here, a very crushing position. So Karpov he just played king f8, and this is now already not looking very good for black. So this knight's move, maybe it could have been saved and castle instead, but well. Now Kramnik deploys his bishop on f4, and now this is with the idea of playing this move d6 after Karpov took the knight. So b takes c3 and now d6. So it's just trapping the bishop. The bishop, there's nothing he can do. He cannot leave, he cannot move. The bishop is lost. And it's nice because the king, if the queen were to move away at some point, it would also threaten mate. I hope we can see that later on. So knight d5, it took the bishop, queen takes e7, and now bishop e5, just get the bishop on the nice diagonal and away from the knight. And now bishop b7 was played by Karpov, and now he recaptured the pawn here. Rook d8, trying to get some counterplay with the rook, putting the rook in front of the queen, and now knight d4, getting a nice knight on d4, a very nice square. And here Karpov he made a very bad blunder, I think, that decided the game. He played knight c4. So now maybe you wanna again pause the video and try to see the variation here that Kramnik played, and it's a very deep variation, I think, if you want to see the word thing. So maybe write it down and try to see if it's working. Okay, so here Kramnik, I hope you can see that if the bishop were to take here on g7 and the king recaptures, then you have a nice fork. The knight on f5 is forking the queen and the king, and this pawn, well, it can take the knight, but then your rook will just take the queen. And after the knight recaptures the queen, well, it looks like you have lost a rook and two minor pieces for a queen. But what then? Well, then I hope you saw that you can play queen e2, forking the knight here and this knight on c4. And from there, there is two ways to go. For example, one of these knights could go there, but black could try another defense. Maybe I think you might have saw that black could try knight b6 from there, attacking your bishop. So if you were to take this knight, black would take the bishop on a4, and from there, well, I hope you maybe saw that you have a queen g5, checking the king here, forcing the king to go back to f8, and then you can grab the rook. So let's take a look at this variation now. Bishop takes g7, king g7, it's pretty much all forced from there. Here it took the knight, rook takes, knight takes, and now queen e2, forking the two knights. And Karpov, he played knight g6, which is the best move, but you have to consider that black could play knight b6, attacking your bishop, and then this is just not enough. If you just lose the bishop now, you lose the game probably. So this is a good thing, because after queen e7, knight takes a4, queen g5, king f8, and then the rook is in pre here. And maybe even you have some mate threat after queen g5, king f8, maybe putting the rook here on the d file and trying to checkmate. So this is very dangerous here for black. Black is very lost. So Karpov, he doesn't go for that one. He just accepts that he has lost a queen and a knight, and now he tries to go on with the game with rook d2, because it's a rapid game, so maybe he was hoping that his opponent was gonna make a mistake, but from there the game is pretty much over. So bishop b3 from Kramnik, attacking here on f7, bishop d5, queen takes a6, rook d8, so setting a little trap. If you let your bishop be taken, then he wants to maybe check here, but Kramnik of course doesn't go for that. He's happy to exchange the bishop, and after exchange he play h3, just avoiding any back rank mate. That would be a bit silly. Knight e5, and now a4. Just the plan is very simple, just gonna queen this pawn and win the game. So Karpov, he desperately tried to get some kind of attack here on the king side, but this is really hopeless. a5, f3, now queen b7, and f takes g2, and here Kramnik played a6 and Karpov will resign. Here there might be a nice little thing that you might spot here, is if you were to play f4. This is a nice mate in one. Well, just that being said, of course he doesn't go for that one. He just play a6, and here there is nothing he can do to stop this pawn, and Karpov resign and end of the game. So I hope you enjoyed this game and got something out of it, and please leave some feedback on YouTube if you like it or not. Thank you.